Hello, my YouTube friends. When you first become a YouTuber, you're gonna spend hours and hours and hours working on content that you're never gonna be paid for. That's just what it takes to get to the point where you can create content that you do get paid for. Call it learning the ropes, paying your dues. Either way, it just takes time to build an audience and learn what they actually want to see. Now, being used to doing all this work for nothing creates a mental trap when it comes to actually getting paid, and that is really hard to see and overcome. So today, I want to give you information that's going to help you not fall into this trap. We're also going to talk about what size your channel or audience needs to be to get sponsors, how to assess the value of your sponsored content, and even a bit about how to find the right sponsors for your channel. We have a lot to get to today, so you know what? Let's get to it! Now, I've really never seen a video where YouTubers share this information. I don't know why. Maybe they're afraid to scare off sponsors, or maybe they just are really big now and they don't remember what it was like when they were a brand new YouTuber. But I'm gonna shoot straight and I'm gonna share what I know, because I really think that when you finally see what that actual ad revenue is, you're gonna realize you need more. And if you don't have the guidance to figure out how to go out there and get sponsorship deals, well, there's still a chance your channel will fail just because it doesn't generate enough money for it to make sense. So why not share what I know and hopefully help you? And if we do, well, make sure you leave a thumbs up and let us know down below in the comments that you learned something from this video. It really does mean a lot. This video has no sponsors, but everyone who watches my channel knows that that makes no difference to my content either way. And this is the golden rule of any sponsorship. You need to keep control of your content and stand by the things that you say. Could you make money just mindlessly shilling any old product? Sure, for a short period of time. But here's the thing, building an audience that trusts you is really hard. And once you break that trust, it's all over. You've got nothing again. So no matter what you do, don't let a sponsor dictate what you can and can't talk about or say as it pertains to their product. For me, that's a hard pass. No product is perfect, and you should make them aware of that right out of the gate. If they're looking to sponsor you, they already trust that you're going to be fair and keep it positive. And that's the best they can really ask for. Do not take any sponsored deal where they have the final say over what you say. Guidelines on the features that they want you to highlight, and maybe even some of their marketing terms that they'd like you to use, is about as far as I would take it. And if you do give them final approval, just make it totally clear that once it gets to that point, you're getting paid whether the video's released or not. Get that in writing. So how big does your channel or audience need to be to get a sponsor? Channel size and audience size are two very different things, really, and I'll get into that in a moment. The long and short of it is there is no hard and fast rule here. It really depends on the niche you're in and how many other people are creating the same sort of content. For example, in the drag racing niche, if you have a regular audience on your videos of around 1,000 views, you have a viable opportunity for sponsorships. The number of subscribers is irrelevant here. Maybe you only have 500, but the videos routinely get 1,000 views, and that's all that matters because of the audience that's watching and the type of sponsorship that would work for your niche. Let me explain why. Let's say a suspension company decides to sponsor you with a free setup and some money per video to show how it works in action, from the install and the constant setup and tweaking of weekly racing. This sort of product generally costs about $3,000 to $5,000 retail, but it's a tax write-off for them to just give it to you. Now, they know your audience are drag racing enthusiasts or people who want to buy or build or already own a drag racing car. Sponsoring you is easily the cheapest way to reach their exact audience, and your audience trusts you because they watch you every week. So out of those 1,000 viewers, they don't need to sell many to make the sponsorship make sense. It would easily cost the same company $10,000 or more to create a commercial ad. And then lots of actual advertising money on top of that to reach the same qualified audience that you already built. And since it's a commercial ad instead of a creator using the product, they have to show that ad a lot more times to bridge that trust gap before someone's gonna put money out of their pocket to buy an expensive product. Now for a sponsor, not every niche makes this much sense for a small creator. Generally, if the products in your niche are cheap, let's say less than $100, and there are a lot of creators doing videos about it, you're gonna need a much larger audience to find a sponsorship. An example of this would be makeup or beauty products. There are thousands of beauty creators and millions of potential customers. Most of the products are cheap, so sponsors are going to be looking for larger audiences to maximize their reach because they have to sell a lot more product to make good money from a sponsorship. The best rule of thumb that I can offer is this: the smaller the niche is, the easier it will be to justify a small audience sponsorship. Now the downside to that is that it's also going to limit the channel size, but you take the good with the bad. Now let's talk about the trap that I told you about in the intro. Let's say that you're that drag racing channel I just talked about. You've been making videos for a year now and you've managed to grow your channel to 3,000 subscribers and your videos are getting about 1,000 views on average. Now you're already spending hundreds of dollars every week traveling to races, maintaining your equipment. There's also entry fees, the whole nine, plus all of the filming and editing. You're working frickin' hard. Then you see this email from a suspension company that you know saying, hey, we'll give you our premium suspension if you create videos installing it and using it. Now you're on cloud 9. Finally, something that you don't have to pay for and you can upgrade your car and maybe win a few more races. This seems like the greatest thing ever. And now they have you. You're in the trap that all your free work that you've done over the past year created. You don't see the value in your work because you've been building for nothing for a year now. In fact, you've been sinking your own money into it, so you are just thankful that you might get something out of it. Now I get that. The urge to just take the freebie is practically overwhelming. In fact, most YouTubers will. I sure did. But once you do, that company is very unlikely to ever pay you a dime of real money, no matter how big you get or how much time has passed. And that's because why should they pay you when they can just give you free stuff? And if you ask for money, they're just gonna say, well, the suspension is $5,000 already. But remember, that free suspension is just a write-off for them. They are essentially reaching their perfect audience that you spent a year building with your own money for free. And remember how much it would cost them to create an ad and advertise through YouTube to try to reach your audience. A lot of money. Now that you see and understand the trap, don't fall for it. Ask for money per video. So this is where you're saying, well, how much? What is my value? This is actually half the reason no one ever asks for money here. They have no idea what to ask for. And there is no cut and dry, this is my value formula here. But I'll give you a few guidelines that work. When your price feels uncomfortable, start there. Why start at an uncomfortable price? Well, it's really pretty simple. As a YouTuber, all the expenses come right out of your pocket, so that's the headspace you're in. You feel like when you ask for your price, you're asking the guy on the other end of the email to take that cash out of his pocket and give it to you. The reality is that the guy on the other end of the email is probably just a marketing person that has a spending budget, and his only job is to pay as little as possible to get the marketing the company wants. In fact, for all you know, your uncomfortable price is on the low end of their budget, and they might just say yes. I've had plenty of sponsors just say yes. Now they'll likely come back and say, that's too much. But that's okay. Here's where you can ask what their advertising budget is, and you can also ask about affiliate potential. In other words, when your links sell a suspension, can you get a percentage of the sale? So maybe you ask $800 for a video and they say no, but they may pay you $400 a video plus 10% on any sales. That can easily add up to more than $800 as the channel continues to grow. And it also lets you know how much you sell, which is really good information to have. I can tell you this, it'll be a short sponsorship if you never sell anything. The other tactic I use is to take less per video for a long-term deal. Now this is kind of more of a security thing. It just feels good knowing that there is this amount of money coming in every month, and for me that's worth a little something. The other major sticking point is how to actually ask for money. I mean, you're just excited to have someone offer you something for free, and you feel disrespectful saying that's not good enough. We've all been there. Usually I like to start with something like, that's really generous and I would love to talk about your product, but I can't take my wife to dinner with a free suspension. Or I can't pay my rent with a free suspension. Now this is kind of subtle and a bit funny, and usually it gets the conversation started. Now you should have your email address in the channels about for sponsors to contact you for business purposes. And they will contact you when you reach a level that they feel comfortable spending money with you. This level is different for every niche. But once you get that first email, I think it's a good time to reach out to other companies that you might want to work with. In these emails, when you reach out, be sure to create interest by describing your content and how you would like to integrate their product into that. Leave some links to your best videos and just see what happens. So there you have it. My best advice on getting sponsors and knowing what you're worth. Now, if you take any 3 things away from this, number 1, do not agree on any sort of shill deal where you give up control of your message. Number 2, do not fall into the trap of taking product for free videos. And number 3, it will cost any company a lot more money to reach your audience through advertising than anything that you're ever going to charge them to sponsor you. Is there a helpful tip for sponsorship that you think I may have missed? Let me know about it in the comments. And if you want to learn how to monetize your live streams really easily, check this video out. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better live streamer or YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Feyrer Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.